Make no doubt about it, West Texas is still the place to go, and it is the lifeblood of the oil and gas industry. We talked to two advertising experts that are getting the word out for their clients on this episode of The Crude Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
This episode is brought to you by LFS Chemistry. We are committed to being good stewards of the environment. We are providing the tools so you can be too. NAPE Expo, where deals happen. Air Compressor Solutions. When everything is on the line, Air Compressor Solutions is the dependable choice to keep commercial business powered up. Sandstone Group. Exec Crew. Elevate your network, elevate your knowledge. Texas Star Alliance. Pecos Country Operating. Fueling our future.
Well, thank you as always for tuning in to another episode of The Crude Truth. As we inch into summertime, what a better place to start than going back to our great place, West Texas, and talking to some excellent individuals, experts in their own industry, two individuals that know what they're doing. We're talking about Jessica Rule and Maddie Walker of SHK Advertising. Did I get that right, girls?
Yes.
You got it right.
Awesome. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I cannot complain. Thank y'all so much. I heard you were in town, and I was like, oh, my God, got to have you on the show. Please come to my flagship studio. And because we had a great opportunity to meet a while back, Maddie.
Yes.
And what you guys are doing is just taking off like wildfire out there in West Texas.
It is.
And it's like, oh, my gosh. And then you're like, you got to meet my boss. She is the lady that's doing it all. And Jessica, that is you. Jessica, for those out there that don't know you, who are you?
So Jessica Rule, the president of SHK, the advertising firm. And I started the company 11 years ago, kind of fresh out of, I was working at an ad agency before, wanted to go off on my own, make it as big as possible. A year ago, I brought on Maddie and another sales rep, and they have really been a big part of making it grow like crazy.
Wow. And Maddie, for those out there that don't know you, who are you?
So I grew up in Midland, so West Texas girl, but I worked for Hearst Media from the time I was 23 until I jumped over with Jessica a year ago. And so my background is purely digital marketing. So I was sending people who need swag and stuff like that to Jessica. So now I kind of get to do all of it.
Well, very cool. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's real cool.
Yeah.
When did you guys see that niche? And Jessica, with the advertising, when did you understand that West Texas really needed something more in depth? Because it's not, I use the word advertising, and you guys are true experts in this field, because there is a difference between just flopping something on a billboard and what you guys do. Sure. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that is something that I really wanted to be intentional about in starting SHK, and it's kind of the meaning behind SHK, which stands for seen, heard, known. So I think you can put a billboard out there, slap it up, and people can forget it, or you can be really intentional and make sure you're creative and your wording and everything is something that people are going to remember. So they don't just see it and hear it, but because it's memorable, they now know it. And when they need your services, they know exactly who they're going to call.
Name and brand recognition.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that is so huge, because you might be the best frat company in town, but if you're not getting the name out there, the other company that just continues to get that name and brand recognition will always get it. You might be ranked number one in your field, but if you're not doing that, not promoting it, I know somebody told me about that a while back, and I was always like, I don't really talk about myself. And they're like, you have to, or pay somebody to talk about you for you. What do you think about that, Maddie?
Well, we start with everything from the beginning. So like if a logo, it comes with PMS colors and all that. So even if you go to have someone else print it, they know the exact colors to use for your logo But if we're building your website, we're going to make sure your brochures match, your business cards match, any swag matches, so that you really have a lot of consistency across the board. And once people even see the colors, they'll be like, I bet that's so-and-so, you know. So we try and maintain consistency.
Well, and I think consistency is the key, is it not? I mean, it goes back to anything that you're doing, that as long as you just continue to do not necessarily the same thing, but that, I mean, what is the difference? Because I know consistency is like, hey, I'm going to keep going to the gym every day or doing something like that. But if you're not changing it up at the gym, you're not doing it right. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a great analogy, especially when I think about like our LinkedIn ads.
Okay.
So we're going to run a LinkedIn ad and we're going to run it consistently so that we don't lose momentum, but we are going to change our creative.
Okay.
But then the second you stop running that LinkedIn ad, you lose your momentum. Same with SEO. So it's kind of a mixed bag where we have to run long enough campaigns to see results, but we do have to make changes so that people don't get tired of seeing the same thing.
You know, when you talk about LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn. I think I'm pretty terrible at it. I think, you know, I'm not, I just, you know, sometimes I think what I think will pop doesn't pop, and things I'm like, you know what, I need to get that info out there, and that pops. What have you seen, and what can you share, and what can you help provide your clients with the LinkedIn?
So with LinkedIn, we can do everything from kind of create the page, create cover pages, everything like that, cover photos, but then also running ad campaigns. So post and ads are different. Posts are what you would see on your organic feed. Those are people you probably follow, right? But ads, we can get in front of certain demographics, certain target audience, retarget people who are already searching for your services, target specific companies, use geofencing, so we can really get in front of your ideal customer base with an ad spend.
Now, with that, and your background being the digital side of things, what is it about, you know, just LinkedIn and social media that you see that is a benefit for your guys to come in and you say, hey, you need to get on this? What are you seeing?
Well, especially because some people will be like, well, I use a lot of word of mouth or that sort of thing. That's kind of what I think about with like posts. Like maybe you see your friend like liked something or commented on something and now you're seeing it. It's showing up in your feed, right? But with ads, we can get in front of people who have never heard from you, but they would be your ideal customer. Okay. So they've never heard your name, but they're in the market for your services. They're your ideal job title who would call you for a service. So
now, and then with what we're seeing now with digital and social media, and we're talking about these ads, are these becoming more crucial than they were 5 and 10? Because I was joking about the billboard, right? But the billboard used to be the thing, or getting on TV, get that commercial. Even those late night infomercials used to be something there.
Or the phone book.
Or the phone book. Are you old enough to know the phone book?
Oh, I used to sell it.
What?
I have sold ice to Eskimos.
Have you really?
Yes.
Yeah. Once I heard how much she did for phone book, I was like, oh, she's good at what she does.
Well, let's take a sidetrack here. Let's not. What the heck did you do for the phone book?
I literally sold phone book ads.
Really? That's what Herschel did, or
yeah, Hearst owned the area-wide phone books
in Midland. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that's a hard sell. It's not something that we're promoting to our clients. By
no, I wouldn't advise it these days.
Not at all. Yeah, we do not advise Google. We can phone book on Google, and we're going to talk about search engine optimization in a minute.
Yes.
But I think the only reason I want to bring it up, Maddie, is because I think, and again, I'm just going to assume, and we know what I have to assume, you've got to be a good 10 years younger than I am.
I'm 33.
Okay, you're a good 10 years younger. And
so when I started selling the phone book, it was about this thick.
Right.
And then at the end, it was like a magazine.
Right. So for you to be doing it, you were basically succeeding in, ISO and Eskimo is a perfect way to describe it, because you were succeeding in an industry that was dying.
Yes.
Wow. What a way to cut your chops.
Yeah. I mean, it was straight to the point. Like we could say, if someone's looking for a roofer, what's more,
Right. Yeah, I
what's better than the phone book, the local phone book?
Well, I remember when we would run out of coupons for Mr. Jim's Pizza or something like that. It's like, crap, go to the Pizza for pizza, you know? But that's what I remember. But now people are using, they're using Google and they say, we need a roofer. And how do you get your name at the top of that list? What is that?
That is search engine optimization.
Okay.
So to get to the top, it's a mix of a few things. So we want to start with something we call reputation management, which is managing all your listings. So make sure all your listing information is correct, which includes Google Maps. That's very important because it gets you in that top 3.
Okay.
And then we want to do SEO, which is a lot of coding on the back end. But that's also mixed with a quality score. So we have to make sure that SEO is being done correctly. Google has white hat tactics, black hat tactics. So we choose white hat tactics, which are good tactics.
Okay.
And then mix that with reputation management, which is making sure your listing information is correct, because all Google's doing is looking by AI and like how many places are they listed online. So the more places we list you out correctly,
Right.
well, that increases that quality score, which also helps bump up to the top.
Wow. So what are white tactics? Can you give some examples?
So I know you can't use like other company names in like your SEO. Like you can't use your competitor. Like I want to show up when someone Googles them. That's a black hat tactic. So I don't want to give away too many secrets.
Yeah, no. Don't do that.
I don't want to let everybody know how we're doing it. But there's white hat tactics. So there's just a certain way Google changes their algorithms. I think it's like 200 something times a year. It's a lot.
Wow. I don't got time to worry about that.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's nice for companies to outsource. So
Yes. So don't try and do it yourself, especially if you're running a company. Run that company. Let us take care of the SEO and the coding.
Well, Jessica, you're a horn frog.
Yes.
I got to say that. So go frogs.
Go frogs.
What brought you back to West Texas and just do this advertising? What did you see that was needed, or what was missing, or was it, I can do this way better? Because you've been in advertising for a while.
Yes. Yeah. So initially, straight out of TCU, I fell into advertising. My dad was actually on a flight with someone and said, "Hey, I can get your daughter a job at this advertising firm I use." And he said, "Sure." And to let you know how green I was at that time, my dad came with me to my interview. And if you know my dad, he probably spoke 90% of the time. I probably didn't do much, but needless to say, I got the job somehow. And day one, I just felt like I was a fish in water. This is where I'm supposed to be. I love advertising so much, and it naturally came to me.
Okay.
So I did that for a few years, and then I got to a point where I am very ambitious. The agency I was with, they worked very limited hours, and they were like, "We think you're working too hard. We don't really like this." So I wanted to go out, start my own thing where I could work hard, get rewarded for it, and make it just as big as possible.
Well, that's the way it is with being any entrepreneur, is the harder you work, the more reward you make for yourself. And and that's why I think sales is also a good spot, because I believe in sales, the cap should be unlimited. Okay. I think that it should be. And, but the only other better job, I think, is being an entrepreneur and doing it yourself, because the more effort you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And so what was it about West Texas? Just coming home, or what was it?
Yeah, when I graduated, I was literally open to wherever I got a job, and I got a job there first. And so then by the time I started my own, I already had some type of Rolodex there. I kind of made a name for myself in the industry there. So the second I decided, okay, I'm going out on my own, I called probably 100 people that first day and told them, "Hey, this is what I'm doing now." I made a sell that first day for a client. He probably doesn't even know this, but he's still a client to this day. He's started several companies since then. So I think that really speaks to our work, and that we really go above and beyond for our clients.
Wow. So where did the SHK, seen, heard, known? How did that come about?
I think it's just part of my creative process. I knew I didn't want anything with my name because I wanted something that was bigger than me. But outside of that, I knew I wanted something cool, catchy, and I didn't know what it was. And so we brainstormed like 50, hundreds of names over periods of months, probably.
Wow.
And came up with SHK. And that is something we do for clients as well. We do naming services. So it's just part of the creative process.
Well, I was about to ask you, it's like, I can only imagine, what is the process? Because if y'all doing that for yourselves, what is that? Well, you kind of got this scared, Maddie. What is this?
I mean, I've never named a company, but she has.
Yeah. And basically, it's like just throwing everything out there.
Yeah.
Dumb ideas, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then see what sticks. That something always comes good out of it.
Well, the SHK thing seems to stick very well for you guys. And, what is it about West Texas that just gets y'all excited? I mean, because, it's anybody outside the oil and gas industry, they're like, it's West Texas. But
Don't understand. Yeah.
But, I remember when you were like, "Oh, yeah, I've lived here my whole life." And I'm like, "Really?" And like, "Oh, yeah." And I mean, you were just so excited. And
I know people are always shocked by that when I'm like, I'm from here. They're like, what? Like, yes, actually, born and raised. But no, I love the people so much, honestly. Like, you'll find the nicest people ever in West Texas. And not just oil and gas, like the whole community is really great out there.
Well, speaking of oil and gas, I don't want to pigeonhole you guys in oil and gas. When y'all are looking for new clients, what is somebody like that y'all see and it's like, oh my gosh, this, like if somebody goes, I need this, this, and this, what is y'all's ideal clients where it's like, this got to be perfect for us?
I would say 90% of our clients are in oil and gas. We do everything. We do a college, hospital, retail, everything, but oil and gas is our niche, especially because we are in West Texas. And I think that's helped set us apart because there are so many agencies that don't know the lingo or the pictures. And so we're able to put them on brochures or whatever it is pretty well. Everyone on our team either has parents or brothers or they've been in oil and gas themselves. So between all of us, we can really understand it.
Yeah. We're all West Texas girls. So we may not know technical little terms, but
we know a lot.
We know a lot. Yeah.
Well, what do you guys, when you're looking at advertising and y'all have got companies that are maybe production companies or, what kind of story are y'all trying to get out right now for the industry as a whole? Are y'all trying to focus on like maybe a big story? Because I know for us, we always get the bad rap of, well, you producers aren't doing a good enough time telling people how good you're doing for this community or how many jobs you're doing, that we're not telling a good story. What kind of story are you guys telling and are y'all helping get that positive spin out there?
I think because most of what we're doing is targeting West Texas, West Texans get it. We don't necessarily have to tell that story because we all have that same goal. So it's more so like we want to promote the services our companies are doing. Yeah.
I like how you said that because, here in Texas, we understand how important it is. And, fortunately that we don't have too much that we have to worry about with that standpoint. But when it comes to the services, and that is something I'm glad you brought up because good, bad, or indifferent, there is a dime a dozen for every service that's out there just waiting for the other service company to mess up one time and somebody else gets the job. That's the nature of the beast in West Texas. We all have the companies that we work with. But in West Texas, if we don't get the work done yesterday, we'll find somebody that could get it done 2 days ago.
Absolutely.
There's not as much, and that's something I've talked about that I don't think is 100% right. I do think having loyalty and having the best people to get the job done and waiting, but that's not the way it is. So when y'all are trying to highlight some of y'all's customers, what are y'all doing to really kind of help highlight them in that way?
It really depends on the customer. Right. So anytime I sit down with them, I ask them what their goals are, what sets them apart, what makes their business unique, and then highlight that. And usually it speaks for themselves and they will attract the right operator or whoever they're a good fit for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I like what you say about speed because I think one thing on the other side of that token is if we go out there and say, we're fast, we can meet this timeline, and truly that company is slow, now we're hurting them. So it's really important to get to know each company and know what their true strengths are because we don't want to overpromise by any means because that's just going to hurt them in the long run.
Right. Yeah, I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver than anything else.
But usually I like to sit down with them and get like a good hour of just like learning about their company and what they're about. And that way I can kind of speak on their behalf and act like I actually know them,
Right. And that is key because again, going back to advertising that you ladies can speak the lingo, y'all can do that, but y'all are almost an arm of these companies. Is that correct that y'all work with?
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of them we're like fulfilling instead of them having on staff, marketing, we are that part for them.
Wow. That's helpful, I'm sure, for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So a lot of them just call with like questions, like, should I do this? Should I do that?
All the time.
Or advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get to that point when people are asking questions that don't even necessarily relate to advertising, we're really doing our part. Like we're a trusted resource for them all around.
Oh, wow. Man, that's really awesome. So what is it about the search optimization? I know we kind of touched on that a few minutes ago, but what is it about that y'all are really seeing and enjoying about that, especially being right now in West Texas? Why is it so important actually for them in West Texas right now to have that search optimization?
I say the most important part is anyone can do it, right? So companies from outside of West Texas could come in and do search engine optimization and pretend like they were actually physically there. So for a lot of the companies we're working with locally in West Texas, I want to be like, you need to get there. Someone else is going to come in and steal your worm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to get, early bird gets the worm, and you need to get on top first and stay there.
I like that.
Well, and I think we've both been in the industry for quite some time. So we've seen it evolve where 10 years ago, people were like, I don't need a website. I have business. I'm not interested. And now even very established companies are realizing I have to have an online presence because yes, I have my core clients, but if I want to grow and keep with the times, people are going to be Googling me.
Yeah.
And if nothing comes up, you just don't look legitimate. And if you're on page 10, no one's going to see it. So it's really important.
Yeah, when we do some of these oil and gas shows, right, whether it's NAPE or the big ones that are in, like, there's one every 2 years in West Texas. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but it's a big one. And it's like almost sometimes some of the companies go, they have no new thing, but if they're not there, then people are going to be like, where'd they go? What happened? They must be out of business.
Yeah.
And that says a lot just in that alone from an advertising standpoint.
You have to have a presence. And even now, LinkedIn has become, I see you on there a lot. LinkedIn has become such a big thing that I'm like, you have to post regularly. Like, you have to be a part of the conversation ongoing. And we do offer posts, but I even encourage them as individuals. I'm like, post every once in a while, just even if it's like a snapshot of what you're doing, just make sure that you're always keeping a presence.
Yeah. And that posting every day thing for me, I know is hard. Even though you can like now do, I think you can like schedule them. I still don't do that. But, I think, but having a team that can help out with that, especially for some of these teams, because I'm sure you got some of the companies where the owner or the decision makers are still out there doing work just as much as the other guys are. And to have you guys actually be in that arm that saying, hey, don't forget, or doing the advertising, that probably helps out so
we can definitely do it for them.
Yes. And we do that a lot. And I think even this week, I've had 2 companies that haven't posted since like 2018, 2019.
Okay.
And so to have that big gap, like you said, it's like, what's going on with this company if I'm trying to get some information on them?
And I had that CEO called me that one morning at 8, and he was like, I need you to post this right now.
Yes.
I just logged in and did it.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yes.
See, man, we had a conversation the other day about when I first started the Crude Truth, and I was more nervous about posting than I even was being in the room doing the interviews because you don't know what's going to happen. I think that's the nerve wracking, but it's like you have to literally, lack of better words, put it out there.
Yes. And I mean, I even play with my own LinkedIn a lot. She knows this.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I like take a pause, I think I did over Christmas, and then I had like build back. Like I noticed when I first started posting again, like my impressions were super low, and like it's almost like you have to regain LinkedIn's trust,
Okay.
to start getting seen again. And then some things you just never know what'll take off. I think we did like a group photo, and it had like 21,000 impressions or something.
But people love faces too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, a lot of times, like I'll post koozies or whatever, and that may get like 400 impressions.
Yeah.
I'll do something with our faces, and suddenly it's a lot more. But I love playing around with it like that to see, and I love time of day and day of week to see.
And to see what orders you get from it too. It's really cool.
Wow.
Because a lot of times people will just be like, get me a quote on whatever I just posted.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But I like the way y'all are diving into the numbers because impressions are very important because they're views. It's like a billboard. Like, right? I mean, it is very important to get that.
Well, and that way I actually know what I'm talking about when I'm talking to the customer. Like,
well, you should, man.
I should. But I can be like, if you post at this time of day, you're going to get more. And I know because I've done it.
Yeah, we're testing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't give away the secrets, but I'm sure there is a better time to post than most. I just try to
I'm
do
not
my
going to give
first.
away the
Yeah,
secrets.
don't give the secrets, But again, you guys have been growing, and you talk about how you took the hiatus. Your LinkedIn presence has been growing. That's something I think we talked about the other day. I was like, Maddie, definitely can't wait to have you in. And one of the things is that you have been growing your LinkedIn presence, and it's very strong and in a positive way. And is it just the fact that you're posting all the time? Is that kind of the helpful thing that you can share? I know.
I will say during COVID is when I started adding people like crazy.
Okay.
And it's because I couldn't walk into places anymore. I couldn't knock on doors anymore and all that. And so I just started adding people like crazy, messaging them. People who are watching this probably like, I've had a message from this girl.
And they're like, that's that lady. That's her. Okay.
And I mean, I was like maxing out the like ads and stuff all the time. Like LinkedIn would be like, every once in a while they'll say,
messages.
yeah, you can't add this many people, and they'll stop you.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from there, it just started growing and growing and growing. And then I started, I think it wasn't until I switched over to SHK, started posting every day, and it's just expanded every day since. And I think I've gotten a lot more involved in the community too since I moved over to SHK. So for charity functions and stuff like that. So I think my network is just, there's a lot more arms to it now.
Gotcha.
Well, I think too, because we are full service, we offer so many things. It's interesting because posting every day could get boring if you're posting the same old thing, but you can post about SEO and about promotional products and branded apparel and client gifts. Like the list goes on.
Yeah, one day
logo
it's
design,
hat.
websites. It's interesting.
One day I love it. You know, one of the things when we met in person a couple months back, you were like, we're all from West Texas. Was that planned or what? Because I mean, Maddie, you seemed very proud to go, we are a West Texas girls company.
Yes.
And was that something that you had planned when you did it, or did it just happen?
You know, I think everyone on the team just came at the right time. I've never been one to actively hire. I feel like if someone's going to come, it comes naturally.
Yes.
And so I can't say that it was necessarily intentional, but I can say that it's very helpful that we are all from West Texas. And it's like when I know someone's good for the team, I know. Granted, I knew Maddie and a lot of, I guess, everyone I've known for some time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just worked out that way.
Well, I can't disagree at all. I mean, so when it's natural and it just evolves and you don't force it, I think that's something that says a lot, because you do have people then that's like, you know what, these guys are here. I haven't asked them to be here. I haven't, said, hey, this or that, but they want to follow in a good way. Not saying, but then again, you get y'all individuals, because there's several of y'all. Y'all each have y'all's own lead. So here I'm saying, you want to follow. Y'all both, y'all are all leaders. And so I think that is so true. That's like, when it evolves naturally the way it does, that's usually the way things are stronger. Because when you look at just anything, as it evolves, it gets stronger.
Right.
And I think we all have a good growth mindset, and we bounce ideas off of each other really well. And so that helps a lot too.
Yeah. And I tell everyone on the team, I'm like, any idea, I want to hear it. I'm open to listening to everying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Well, where do y'all see the price of oil going? I'm joking. But I will say this, and I want to ask y'all this. After the election, I will ask y'all this. And what was the mindset in West Texas after the election of this year? Like, did you feel something different or anything?
I feel like people probably took a deep breath after but don't they after every election?
Yeah, I think that's the same as every election. We see a dip, but right before, people are uncertain. Yeah. And then right after, they're still a little uncertain, no matter what the results are.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I just know that afterwards, it just felt like there was so much of that deep breath that everybody's like, oh, finally, we can just not worry about our jobs. Like, I think that's the way it was the last several years. And the fact that during that time, y'all were able to grow is, again, I get it. I mean, we could be in a whole different spot, and you doing the phone books, which I can't believe during that time. And then we had this last 4 years where we had somebody trying to do something else.
It goes right back to, like, I love our community so much because, West Texans are always helping West Texans. And so I felt like we had a lot of loyalty from a lot of our customers and sticking with us through that time. So.
Absolutely. Well, I think the interesting part too is when oil's good, we get to have fun. We get to do crazy client gifts and, just the fun stuff. When oil's low, now we're having to figure out, okay, how do we generate more business for our clients? So there's always a need. It's just, what does that look like? Right now, it's like, okay, we need to hire a lot more people right now. Get us a hiring ad.
Wow. Just again, y'all know exactly how this works as far as the advertising side of this goes. That is too awesome. Maddie, for those out there that don't know you, how can they get a hold of you for all that great stuff that you, and especially for those that need to get at the top of the search engine, optimization, how can they get in contact with you guys?
You can call or text me at 432-230-3321. My email is mwalker@shkadvertising.com.
That's seen her. No.
Don't forget your LinkedIn. You like that LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, you can find me as Madeline Walker, Madeline.
Madeline Walker. Okay, I love it. And Jessica, when I told Maddie, she goes, "Hey, I gotta have my boss on, female owner." That is awesome. Just what you're doing out here. I cannot thank you enough for coming in to do this. And,
Well, thank you.
For those out there that want to have you on to talk about your journey and talk about being a female entrepreneur and have you as a speaker in places, how do they get in contact with you?
Sure. So I'm on my email all the time. It's jrule, RULE, @shkadvertising.com. And then you can also call the office at 432-695-6457.
Golly. Well, guys, I cannot thank y'all enough for doing this and really kind of sharing more about how important the advertising world is, even today on the digital side of things. And it is just so important, especially as we continue into the digital age. So, ladies, thank y'all again so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
And guys, if out there that y'all need that extra advertising, that extra oomph to get y'all just when you're right there about to be number one and you want to be number one, get with SHK. And we'll see you again on another episode of The Crude Truth.
Again, The Crude Truth would like to thank today's sponsors: LFS Chemistry, NAPE Expo, Air Compressor Solutions, Sandstone Group, Exec Crew, Texas Star Alliance, Pecos Country Operating, and Real News Communication Network.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.